Within 30 minutes, you'll notice a pattern that's been blocking you for 7 long years. You are not here by accident. This message is not a coincidence. This divine revelation is being opened to you by Archangel Michael himself. Not as a whisper, not as a vision, but as a sacred confrontation. For 7 long years, something invisible has lingered around your spirit. A pattern, a repetitive loop, a cycle that begins in hope and ends in confusion. And now, within the next 30 minutes, something ancient is breaking open. A crack is appearing in the old wall. What has been hiding in your emotions, buried beneath your routines, camouflaged by relationships, and disguised as delay is coming to the surface. This pattern is not random. It is not emotional. It is not circumstantial. It is spiritual. You've been inside a loop that has fed off your silence, fed off your fear, and fed off your forgetfulness. But now the veil is thinning. Archangel Michael, the commander of divine armies, is making it known. This message is not for the faint of heart. It is for the awakened, the weary, the anointed, and the ones who are finally ready to stop walking in circles and step onto the path that was always meant for them. You may have felt it for years, a repeated betrayal, a familiar loss, a strange return of confusion when peace seemed near. But this time, something is different. This time, you're seeing the pattern. And within the next 30 minutes, the Spirit will show you exactly where it started and exactly how to break it. Not with force, not with fear, but with awareness, authority, and alignment. You are the pattern breaker. You are the divine interruption to what has kept generations stuck. And Archangel Michael is now guiding this moment with fiery precision. Within 30 minutes, you'll notice a pattern that's been blocking you for 7 long years. That is the divine alert. That is the heavenly clock now ticking. And Archangel Michael declares this without hesitation. Be still and stay alert. Your atmosphere is shifting. Yes, in the very room you sit, the energy is already changing. You may feel a trembling in your chest, a warmth in your spine, a sudden urge to breathe deeper. These are not emotional responses. These are spiritual alarms. Something unseen has been rotating around you, minding you in a repetitive experience, again and again, just before breakthrough, just before progress, just before peace. And for 7 years, it has whispered lies that sound familiar. It has mimicked voices you trust. It has disguised itself as your own thoughts. But now, in this holy hour, Archangel Michael is stepping in to end the loop. He says, "You've been here before, but this time, you will not surrender to the cycle. You must understand, this pattern did not begin yesterday. It began 7 years ago, when something inside you broke and you were too tired to fix it. And instead of healing, you adapted. Instead of confronting, you compromised. You were too busy surviving to realize that a spiritual seed had been planted. And now, every time you try to grow, it strangles your roots. Every time you rise, it bends you back down. Every time you see the door, it whispers doubt. But today, this spirit is being called out by name. This is your Kairos moment, a sacred interruption in ordinary time. You are not being called to react. You are being called to reclaim. For in this moment, heaven is giving you permission to see it and to shatter it. Archangel Michael is not giving you a suggestion. He is issuing a decree. Pay attention to the next 30 minutes. You will see signs, feel resistance, remember things you thought you forgot. And when that moment comes, stand still. Do not speak, Do not justify. Do not run. For it is in your stillness that the pattern loses its grip. In your awareness, it loses its power. The chain can only hold you if you keep moving in circles. But today you stop. Today you stand. And the heavens are watching. Type I am ready if you receive this divine alarm. Lesson code 144 is now activated around you. There is a strange kind of silence that doesn't bring peace, it brings distortion. And for 7 long years, you have lived with that silence. Archangel Michael now reveals that what you once brushed off as just a feeling was actually a spiritual disruption, a frequency interference meant to distract you from a higher pattern, your divine pattern. This is why your joy never lasted longer than your fear. This is why just when you thought you were stable, the same faces, same arguments, and same frustrations return. It wasn't the people. It wasn't the environment. It was a pattern. And now, within the next 30 minutes, this pattern is no longer hiding. It will rise. It will twitch. It will scream. Because it knows you're finally noticing it. Archangel Michael has seen the cycle. The whispers. The emotional betrayals that looped behind smiles. The energy of someone always watching from the sidelines, pretending to root for you, but quietly doubting you. There was someone who didn't want to see you evolve. Their mouth said, "I'm proud," but their spirit said, "Stay small." There was someone who misunderstood your silence, and instead of asking you why you withdrew, they created stories to feed their own ego. "You've changed," they muttered, not knowing the change was divine. You were not withdrawing in weakness. You were being shielded. Shielded by spirit from the conversation that was meant to define you falsely. And now the pattern speaks again. But this time, you hear it differently. You feel that someone is thinking about you, not with love, but with discomfort. They feel your rise, even if they haven't seen it. They sense you slipping from the emotional leash they wrapped around your decisions. They feel you remembering. And that remembering, the divine remembering, is more dangerous than anything. Because once you remember where it started, you stop feeding it. Once you remember who it started with, you stop explaining. Once you remember the moment the pattern was planted, you uproot it with silence. Archangel Michael warns that over the next 30 minutes, you will feel a rush of emotions. You may remember a room, a voice, a decision, a betrayal. You may feel anger, sadness, confusion. Do not run from it. Sit in it. For those feelings are not weakness. They are data. They are proof. They are the signal that the cycle is trying one last time to close around you. But you are no longer the version of yourself that agreed to shrink. You are no longer the soul who confused peacekeeping with self-abandonment. This time, you are remembering while awake. And that changes everything. Let's speak clearly now. Someone thought they knew you. Someone watched your heartbreak and thought it had silenced your voice. Someone took your quiet seasons and interpreted them as collapse. But they only saw a piece of your pain, not the divine fire you've been cultivating underneath. There are conversations happening about you. But what they don't realize is, you're not who they are discussing anymore. That version of you doesn't live here now. That version of you has ascended. And now, their words are falling like rain on a sealed rooftop. You hear them, but they don't reach you. That's how you know the pattern is breaking. It has no more emotional hooks left. You must listen closely now. Not all thoughts are yours. Some are echoes. Some are residue. Some are weapons formed by energies that were sent to twist your inner dialogue and make you doubt your worth. But Archangel Michael says, you are awakening to your divine mind. And once your thoughts are restored, your path clears. I am breaking the cycle if this speaks to you. Blessing code 777 is surrounding you now, cleansing you from invisible influence. You must now hear what many have never dared to accept. This is not personal. It's spiritual. Archangel Michael speaks clearly and without hesitation. What has blocked you for 7 long years has not been a matter of poor choices or bad timing. It has been strategic spiritual warfare, designed to deceive you into doubting your authority. You see, the enemy cannot destroy what is sealed by God, but it can distract. And for 7 long years, the distraction has worn the mask of friendships, opportunities, romances, ambitions, all of them looping back into a single invisible chain. A pattern, a spiritual setup disguised as natural life. But now, the disguise is crumbling. Archangel Michael says, you were never confused, you were under spiritual surveillance. What looked like misfortune was actually resistance to your frequency. You were shifting too high. You were too light in too dark of a place. And the moment your soul began to expand, the spiritual resistance increased. Shadows don't fight shadows, they fight light. And you, beloved, are light in human form. That's why the conflict came the moment you found clarity. That's why the people closest to you became the most uncomfortable. That's why every time you declared, I'm ready, something rose up to keep you seated. It was not life rejecting you. It was darkness reacting to your rise. Every delay wasn't merely coincidence. It was collision. A divine collision between your old identity and your heavenly calling. But here's what Archangel Michael needs you to know. You are the anointed interrupter. You were born with spiritual DNA that was always going to unsettle those who settled. You were chosen to break the ancestral cycle. You were marked not by man, but by the divine, and your presence irritates what is not aligned. That irritation caused people to misunderstand you, accuse you, to abandon you. But their rejection was your redirection. Their absence was your sanctification, and their silence was your initiation. You were never abandoned. You were set apart. And now, heaven is ready to release you into the fullness of your assignment. But it must be said, the battle is not over identity, it is over memory. Because if the enemy can keep you from remembering who you truly are, then it keeps you bound to who you used to be. But within these next 30 minutes, Archangel Michael says the veil over your memory is being torn. You will remember what was stolen. You will remember what was silenced. You will remember what you promised yourself before the pattern began. And once you remember, it's over. That's the threat. Not your talent. Not your beauty. But your awakening. Your remembering. Your returning. Archangel Michael now commissions you to speak aloud this truth. I am not a victim. I am the weapon. Because you are. You are the sword in the hand of God. You are the answer to generational prayers. You are the solution wrapped in skin. And this isn't just your battle, it's your bloodline's breakthrough. You were chosen for this war not because you are weak, but because your soul remembers how to fight. And now, heaven is fighting with you. The angels are stationed. The warfare is ending. The pattern is dissolving in real time. You are not losing your mind, you are regaining your vision. You are not repeating the past, you are extracting the lesson. And as the conflict fades, clarity will emerge. And clarity, my beloved, is the greatest spiritual weapon of all. Type I am anointed to break this in the comments. Blessing code 888 now surrounds you. Angels are moving. Chains are breaking. Archangel Michael declares this with fierce urgency. The pattern you are breaking will not die silently. No, it will make noise. It will tremble. It will claw. It will push. Because for 7 years, it has wrapped itself around your decisions, your emotions, and your future like a serpent, tight, silent, and unseen. And now that you are awakening to its presence, it knows its grip is slipping. That's why, in the next few hours, possibly within minutes of receiving this message, you will feel the tremor. It may not come in the form of thunder. It may not be obvious, but it will come. A message, a phone call, a memory, a strange heaviness in your chest, a sudden feeling of uncertainty or urge to reach backward. This is not random. This is the pattern's final retaliation. Hear this well. The pattern isn't just a feeling. It has worked through people. People who once had access to your most vulnerable self. People who helped form the emotional loop that has kept you anchored to a version of yourself you no longer resonate with. And Archangel Michael says, one of them will attempt to return. Whether in physical form or through a triggered thought, they will try to slip back into your mental atmosphere with a seemingly harmless message. Just checking in. Hey stranger, I've been thinking about you. But be warned, that message isn't about reconnection. It's a spiritual test, a vibration test. It wants to see if you'll shrink again, if you'll explain again, if you will doubt again. You'll not fall for it. They may even attempt to distort truth, twist facts, make you feel like you've imagined everything, gaslight you into believing the cycle was your fault. They will bring up the past as if it's still alive, but you are no longer living there. You move out. Your soul has changed address. Do not return to places where your peace is not welcome. You must recognize, not every voice deserves a response. Not every door deserves to be reopened. The cycle wants closure, but you are not obligated to give it. Let silence be your sword. Let discernment be your wall. Archangel Michael reveals that this moment is sacred because it is the last time you will be tempted by what once distracted you. The enemy doesn't waste energy on the inactive. If this resistance is rising now, it's because heaven is announcing your movement. Your spiritual signature has shifted. You are not just breaking free. You are becoming undeniable. That is why the confrontation will feel familiar. That is why your body may tremble. Your throat may tighten. It is your nervous system releasing what your spirit has already outgrown. And it will pass. It will pass. But only if you choose to remain still, aware, and obedient to the silence that follows revelation. Archangel Michael instructs you, do not explain yourself. Do not justify your growth. Do not dilute your discernment to make someone else comfortable. You are not the same soul they remember. You are not the same spirit they played with. You are no longer dancing to the rhythm of old manipulations. That song is over. That page is burned. And in this silence, you are establishing boundaries that heaven applauds. So when the text comes, pause. When the urge to respond rises, breathe. When the memory tries to seduce you into doubt, declare. Declare that you will not return to what merely killed your purpose. Declare that you are too aligned to be confused again. Declare that this pattern ends with you. This is your final test. This is your divine proving ground. Do not miss it by reacting with emotion. Let your stillness become thunder in the spiritual realm. Type I will not react if this confirms your spirit. Blessing code 999 is protecting you now. The test is near. Stay aligned. Archangel Michael now wraps you in the wings of divine stillness, and from this place of eternal insight, he speaks again. You do not need to fight this the way you fought before. You do not need to explain, argue, prove, chase, or defend what God has already sealed. For too long, you have been conditioned to believe that closure comes from confrontation. But in the Spirit, closure is internal. It is divine. It is earned not through loud declarations, but through quiet deliverance. What once required your words will now yield to your silence. What once demanded your energy will now bow before your restraint. Heaven has not equipped you with chaos. Heaven has equipped you with calm, clarity, and command. And now is the time to walk in that. Archangel Michael reminds you, there is great power in your stillness, not weakness. How? The kind of power that silences rooms without a word. The kind of power that ends cycles by standing still. The kind of power that turns spiritual weapons into dust. You must understand, reaction is how the enemy reattaches itself. Reaction is how old doors swing open again. Reaction is how patterns survive. But you are not here to survive. You are here to ascend. And ascension cannot be rushed. It must be protected. Guard your energy like sacred fire. Guard your peace like holy treasure. What you're building now, this new identity, this awakened clarity, it must be shielded from confusion, even if that confusion wears the face of someone you once loved. You will be tempted to speak. You will be tempted to reply. You will be tempted to explain how much you've grown, how much they misunderstood, how deeply it all affected you. But Archangel Michael says, that is no longer your job. That is no longer your purpose. That is no longer your battlefield. Your battle has already been won in the spiritual. Now your only assignment is to not go back. Do not go back to defending yourself to those committed to misunderstanding you. Do not go back to opening doors you've been fasting to keep shut. Do not go back to feeding what you've already starved. Instead, ground yourself. That you shed. Speak peace over your own soul. Anoint your space with stillness. Let Spirit fight for you now. Heaven has already surrounded your name with angelic defense. You are not alone. Archangel Michael stands near, his sword drawn, his flame burning, his command unwavering. He will silence tongues that rise against you. He will block paths that lead to confusion. He will send dreams to those who need correction. Let him handle what you cannot reach. Let him deliver what no conversation could resolve. This is spiritual warfare, and you do not win spiritual battles with emotional weapons. Let your silence be your strategy. Let your boundaries speak louder than any words. Let your absence from chaos become your declaration of strength. Because every time you choose stillness, the pattern loses another layer of its grip. Every time you choose presence over panic, the pattern begins to unravel. Every time you let peace win over panic, the heavens rejoice. For you are proving not only to spirit, but to your own soul that you are ready to live beyond the cycle. This is your new identity. Calm, wise, steady, unshakable. You are not who you were in the last confrontation. You are not who you were the last time the message came through. You are now cloaked in awareness, anointed with silence, covered in divine timing. Your future is too sacred to explain to those still stuck in yesterday. Let them watch. Let them wonder. Let them whisper. And while they do, you will rise. Type my stillness is my shield if this speaks to you. Blessing code 1212 surrounds you now with divine protection and supernatural peace. Archangel Michael now turns your eyes toward the horizon and speaks these words with fire. The one who entered this pattern 7 years ago is not the one standing in it today. You may not feel like a warrior, but you've been forged by fire. You may not feel like a prophet, but you've been entrusted with divine clarity. You may not feel like a storm, but you are the calm that ends chaos. The enemy wanted to keep you small because it feared your awakening. But now the pattern is exposed. Now the veil is lifted. And now, you remember who you are. And that changes everything. This moment, within these sacred 30 minutes, is not just an escape. It is a coronation. It is the recognition of your divine evolution. Let's be clear, what you survived would have shattered someone else. But you didn't just survive, you transformed. You didn't just cry, you prayed. You didn't just break, you resurrected. And that is why the enemy trembles at your awakening. Because it's not your name that shakes the earth. It's your alignment. You are now aligned with the version of you that was hidden under layers of survival, trauma, fear, and repeated emotional warfare. You are now embodying the version of you that the pattern feared most. The version that can no longer be controlled. The version that no longer waits for permission. The version that speaks, moves, chooses, and rises with holy confidence. Archangel Michael says this with all authority of heaven behind him. They no longer recognize you because you are no longer their mirror. You do not reflect their insecurities anymore. You do not feed their illusions. You do not fit into the role they cast for you when they needed someone quiet, predictable, and easily manipulated. That version of you has died, and in its place stands a force, fully anointed, fully awakened, fully aware. The kind of force that walks away without looking back. The kind of force that builds altars where others built gossip. The kind of force that changes rooms just by breathing. And yes, they will come back. They will come to test you. They will come to tempt you with nostalgia, old laughter, shared memories, even guilt. But now you see it for what it truly is. A last attempt to re-enter the cycle that's being broken. And you, beloved, are no longer available for that. You are no longer available for conversations that drain you. You are no longer available for relationships that betray your intuition. You are no longer available for environments that silence your truth. You are now available for alignment, for vision, for purpose, to the next chapter of divine destiny that doesn't include delay as a plotline. This transformation didn't come easy. It came through spiritual surgery. It came through nights of confusion, through moments of collapse, through prayers you didn't think reached heaven. But they did. Heaven heard every word, saw every tear, tracked every shift. And now, heaven responds. Not with words, but with elevation. Not with promises, but with positioning. You are being placed where the pattern cannot find you, where old voices cannot follow, where former fears lose their power. You are not returning. You are emerging. Archangel Michael declares, you are the answered prayer you were waiting for. And now, your rise is unstoppable. Not because of ambition, but because of alignment. You are aligned with peace, aligned with clarity, aligned with spirit, and that alignment makes you unshakable. Do not doubt your rise. Do not dim your light. Do not ask for permission to carry what heaven placed inside you. Rise without explanation. Rise without apology. Rise because the time of hiding is over. Type I am rising if this affirms your spirit. Blessing code 1313 now releases breakthrough energy over your journey. The rise has already begun. Archangel Michael speaks with the certainty of heaven and the clarity of finality. The pattern is broken. Yes, you heard correctly. In the spirit realm, it has already snapped. What once moved in cycles around your emotions, your relationships, your clarity, has now fractured under the weight of your stillness, your awareness, and your divine refusal to go backward. And now that the pattern has broken, the blessings must flow. That is divine law. That is the contract written in heaven, waiting for the moment your alignment caught up to your authority. And now that moment is here. But listen carefully. The breakthrough may not come the way you imagined. It may not look like a single miracle. It may not show up with thunder or applause. Instead, it will unfold in whispers, in the sudden ease of your next decision, in the strange peace you feel in situations that used to rattle you, in the way your body relaxes when you speak truth, in the way your spirit no longer panics at the sight of their name. That is breakthrough. That is the shift. The blessing will arrive wrapped in stillness and sealed with divine strategy. You will not need to chase it. You will not need to beg for it. You will simply align with it, and it will rise to meet you. For 7 years, the blessing was circling you, waiting for your vibration to catch up to the vision. And now that you've outgrown the pattern, now that you've refused to react, now that you've reclaimed your voice through silence, heaven is releasing what was held back. Archangel Michael confirms, this is the final test before the elevation. What you felt was delay was never punishment. It was preparation. It was patience. It was divine engineering to protect you from stepping into a blessing with a wrong mindset or surrounded by wrong spirits. Now that you've shifted, the gate opens. Expect clarity to come like lightning. Expect decisions that once took weeks to feel obvious in minutes. Expect confirmations to show up in the form of new people, new ideas, and even sudden endings. Yes, some things may still fall away. That's not regression. That's completion. That's spirit clearing the path for your next chapter. What is removed now is not loss. It's divine subtraction, so that multiplication can find room. Your blessing requires space. Let it come. And what is that blessing, you ask? Peace. Purpose. Power. Position. Your name will be spoken in rooms you've never entered. Your insight will unlock doors you thought were closed for good. Someone is coming forward with truth. A piece of information. A delayed apology. A divine partnership. Not because you begged, but because heaven commanded it. You are now magnetic to what once seemed impossible. This transformation is not emotional. It's structural. Heaven is rebuilding you from the inside out. And now, everything attached to you must rise. Your finances must align. Your health must stabilize. Your relationships must reflect truth. There is no more space for chaos. Your field is being cleared. Your mind is being cleansed. Your atmosphere is becoming sacred again. And as Archangel Michael stands in the center of this shift, sword raised and flame blazing, he declares this final truth over you. You are not just free, you are established. This is not the end of a battle. It is the beginning of a reign. You are now seated in a position of prophetic clarity. What you see now, you cannot unsee. What you know now, you cannot unknow. You are responsible for this awareness. You must walk like it. Speak like it. Choose like it. Heaven is watching. Angels are celebrating. The pattern is gone. The blessing has begun. Type I receive the blessing if this is your confirmation. Blessing code 2020 is now flowing into your life with clarity, completion, and divine compensation. And if this message has touched your spirit, and you feel moved to support this sacred space, consider offering a super thanks of up to $20. Your kindness helps us continue creating these powerful prophetic messages that reach souls across the world. We are grateful for you. This is the moment that separates the listener from the receiver. This is the line drawn in the spirit. You've heard the message. You've seen the pattern. You felt the divine pressure pressing into your memory, your emotions, your destiny. And now Archangel Michael leans in closer, not with a whisper, but with a holy command. Do not just agree with this message in your heart. Declare it with your voice. Activate it with your intention. Align it with your action. The heavens respond to movement, not just emotion. You must take the word and wear it like armor. You must choose to be the embodiment of the breakthrough you've just been shown. Right now, your spirit is at a crossroads. You cannot quietly and keep scrolling. Where you can stand in the center of your space, raise your hands toward heaven, and speak aloud. It ends with me. Say it again. Say it until your body believes it. Until your blood remembers it. Until the atmosphere around you shifts to make space for it. Because your alignment is not just about you. It's about every life that will be changed because you broke the pattern. Every door that will open for your children because you refuse to stay trapped in cycles of confusion. Every soul that will be inspired to heal because you dared to rise. Archangel Michael says, your next decision will echo through eternity. Choose peace. Choose purpose. Choose to speak less and align more. You are now responsible for what you know. You are accountable to what has been revealed. This is the moment you move from passive faith to prophetic action. So write it. Say it. Declare it. Type it. Move your body. Burn the journal that holds old stories. Delete the number that carries old pain. Clear the space that's been used for waiting and prepare it for receiving. Don't just hope anymore. Decide. And as you do, let this affirmation be your spiritual seal. I am no longer the one who tolerated patterns born of pain. I am no longer the one who danced with delay and called it destiny. I am no longer the one who mistook comfort for alignment. I am no longer the one who begged to be seen. I am now the one who sees. I am now the one who leads. I am now the one who walks in rhythm with heaven's assignment. You are not a victim. You are the revelation. You are not lost. You are located. You are not broken. You are becoming. Let them whisper. Let them wonder. Let them try to understand the glow that now surrounds you. They will not be able to explain it. They will not be able to deny it. And they will not be able to stop it. Because you, yes you, are chosen. You are sealed. You are rising. Type it ends with me if you are ready to walk in prophetic alignment. Blessing code 1111 now opens portals of new beginnings and undeniable favor over your life. And if this message resonates with your soul, and you feel moved to support this sacred space, consider giving a super thanks with a contribution of up to $20. Your kindness allows us to create more powerful, spirit-led messages like this one, and we are so deeply grateful for your presence and support. Now go forward, knowing that within these 30 minutes, the heavens moved, the pattern broke, and you remembered who you are.